All right, I'm starting to understand what Judge Barber has been saying to me yesterday about the writ. Um, I believe that he is intentionally trying to confuse me about authorities and jurisdictions over the writ. So I'll just start out by showing here his order, and that is it is ordered that the defendant perfect his application for writ of review to the Third Circuit Court of Appeal, and that this signed by, I guess, it's the mess there, the ad hoc judge. That's not an appeals court judge, filed in the city courts, and that's the order. I'll just turn this off. But I've been learning that he's overstepping his authority by telling me that I have to perfect my writ application, because that rests solely in the jurisdiction of the appeals court. I am filing an intention to file a writ application with the city courts. So the city court gets an intention to file a writ application, and that is asking the city court to gather up all the necessary resources to then submit to the appeals courts. Judge Barber is turning around and saying that it's not perfected. My intention to file a writ application is not perfected. He's stepping outside of his authority with that, as far as I understand. And it's up to the appeals court to tell me to perfect it. And I find it interesting with Judge Barber's argument yesterday when I put out a motion for clarification on what his demands are to perfect the writs. And what he says is that he can't speak for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. He's writing the order to perfect the writ application. I send him a motion for clarification on what needs to be perfected, and then he says that he can't speak for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. So he's saying that he can speak for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals or just an appeals court. The city judge says that he can speak for the appeals court by saying that I have to perfect my writ application, but then I ask for clarification on what needs to be perfected. I'm asking the city judge, and he's like, I can't speak for the appeals court. And he's just going around and around with that. This is a city judge. What do you expect, right? And then he turns around and tells me that this is why you need a lawyer, because a lawyer would know what to do. Yeah, that's, he's, by him muddying the jurisdictions, trying to muddy his jurisdiction, he could do that to somebody who's not a lawyer, because lawyers, this is probably basic information on authority and jurisdictions that a lawyer would know that I wasn't aware of. And then the prosecutor, Benjamin, he asks me what I thought perfection meant. So there was that, but they weren't about to disclose the fact that the city judge is out of his authority on this. And he clearly was telling me, but I wasn't getting it at the hearing at the time. It's like, he's telling me to perfect it, and then I ask him what needs to be perfected, and he's like, oh, I can't speak for the appeals court. Well, you did. You speak for the appeals court, and then you don't speak for the appeals court. Ultimately, you just, overall, you take a step back. You do not speak for the appeals court. You're out of your jurisdiction. So I'm filing this motion And it was only written by ChatGPT 4.0. I didn't have 0.1 actually do this, so I think it could be improved upon, but I don't have a lot of time and I don't have great access to Wi-Fi, so I'm just going to stick with what I got for 4.0, and it's the combined motion and objection to trial court order to perfect writ of review and request to set return date. That's what the trial judge, Judge Barber, the city judge, that's his responsibility. It's not to tell me to perfect my application for a writ. He's stepping it over his boundaries. Now into court comes Travis Hines, appearing pro se, who respectfully submits this combined motion and objection to trial court's order to perfect the writ to review and request to set a return date, and states as followed. And I wrote this on the back of a city council meeting itinerary they hand out, legal form. Jurisdiction of the appellate court under Louisiana Constitution, Article 5, Section 10, and the Uniform Rules of Louisiana Courts of Appeal, Rule 4, matters concerning the perfection of a writ application fall exclusively under the jurisdiction of the appellate courts, exceeding authority by the trial court. The trial court lacks the authority to order perfection of the writ application once it has been filed with the appellate court. Louisiana case law, including State v. Melancon and Herbert v. Travelers Indemnity, make clear that appellate court retains exclusive jurisdiction over supervisory writs. Improper exercise of jurisdiction. The trial court's order to perfect the writ of review constitutes an improper exercise of jurisdiction and interferes with the appellate court's procedural role. Request to set a return date in accordance with Louisiana Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 912.1, and the Uniform Rules of, Louisiana Courts of Appeal, Rule 4, intent to seek supervisory review of trial court's ruling. This honorable court is required to set a return date to facilitate the timely filing of a writ application with the appellate court. Travis Hines respectfully requests that this court set a reasonable return date within the statutory time frame to enable appellate review. Wherefore, Travis Hines respectfully requests that this honorable court acknowledge that it lacks jurisdiction to order the perfection of a writ application and rescind its order, set a return date within the statutory time frame for filing a writ application with the appellate court, and grant such other relief as may be just and proper, and then respectfully submitted. I mean, it's already clear that the city judge has a limited jurisdiction by not being able to hold jury trials, and I want a jury trial. I mean, I'm facing jail time here, but you know, I'm forced. The Louisiana law forces me into the city courts over this, and that needs to be changed because it's so easy to request a jury trial when you're suing somebody. You know, that's the part of the process right at the start. But when you're facing 6 months in jail, they totally deny you a jury trial, the opportunity for that, a jury of your peers to listen to the case. So they overstep a lot of boundaries in city court. And filing a writ or an appeal, I guess, is another thing. And I got to say that this court is sketchy with Owsley or Barber now, either judge. And I'm trying to get writs early and learning the process, but how do you learn it when the judge is using some dirty tactics, let's just say? And I mean, I'll be interested to see how he responds to this. So I'll just I'll get this submitted. And he only accepts motions by hand delivery to the city courts. He doesn't accept emails. I emailed to the city clerk old motions, and she just says, "Oh, I just send them to the judge." But apparently that's the only way to make it official to make it filed is if she stamps it, and she's not stamping my emails. So she sends them to the judge, but they're not stamped, so they're not filed. And this is the only way I can get them filed. And then they heard a lot of my handwritten motions yesterday, and now I got another one for today.